Hello, and welcome back. Caught me admiring our new solar updraft tower there. Sorry about that. So we have our power connection here. We were a little bit rushed out the door yesterday morning. Hopefully we have some time to polish up some things here. We have our power connection into the solar updraft tower. I'm trying to think of where the next break I have to look out for is. I think it's only connected back here by the highway, so that'll be pretty out of the way, no big deal. And with all that extra power, you see we're making 381 megawatts now. We only need 157 at the moment. We'll want to keep some room for expansion, but we can probably remove some of these windmills here, or whatever they should be called. Power turbines. Wind turbines, there's the phrase. So it's so antithetical to the game and the starting of the game to me to delete windmills. That makes no sense. I'm having a rough time with this, personally. Here we go. We finally have a cleaner and better option unlocked. So that's going to help our upper section here a bit be less noise polluted. The question then becomes, how much of the up do we want to extend as part of the Bryn, say? Because it could run from this intersection all the way up, even. As a residential type neighborhood, we may even be able to fit in some extra connections, I don't know, like a bridge or something, across. Oh, someone's having... Yes, I should have expected. 1 second. Forgot that I am deleting power structures that connect one another. Let's go this way with it. Just for now. Alright. Sorry about that. Brand new public library, and it's too dark to read the books. It's like the end of a Twilight Zone episode in here. Good morning, all. Ooh, yes. Steaming hot tea, and then fist pumps, and then a health potion to recover that lost, constitution from all the pumping. I get it. I'm along with the narrative. Good morning there. It's so nice to see you all. Alright, so we should still be able to remove some of these. Obviously, right now the windmills are the only thing in our forest of nonsense. Let's make sure we have a backup plan for that here. Go ahead and run a little power line along the edge. Just along the edge there. Preferably in between the... Yeah, you figured it out. Okay, so just in case we mess anything up over here, let's go ahead and continue our spree of madness. And let me check if these are interfering all that much noise pollution-wise. That's not the way. So it's still coming across the intersection a lot. Removing this one would probably take care of most of that. I'm not sure if we'd be able to get away with these two. Probably can for now, so I'll just make this my last one. Alright, the sawmills, etc. must be contributing a bit. There, that's better. That's finally gone away. So that's fine. It'll be a little bit noisy here. We can even put some commercial in. I think I have water running up under this road. Yeah, thought ahead there. So let me try this. Just to make this a little bit more of a fleshed out area. Will also help with our terraforming to a certain extent. Alright. A little bit in there, and then we'll... Now that we finally have the option, we may as well continue to build offices pretty much any time we build a commercial zone here. We'll keep some extra job options floating. And then, the question is, do we want to rearrange this road or add another road in some way? I kind of like the curve of this one as it stands. How have I zoned this off? I have a little commercial district up here next to like the firehouse. I don't necessarily need to keep that. There's plenty of shopping options down below, so I think I'm going to make this pure residential at this point. Let me de-zone these. And we could start to add in a little more high density. That seems to make sense sort of along this strip. Some more apartments, but then maybe some single family homes in here where it gets wonky, so that there's less traffic, foot traffic and otherwise, for the less straight sections where people have fewer places to go. It seems to make sense, and hopefully it'll give it a little visual variety as well. So, single family homes up here. Start doing apartments just when we get to the bottom of the curve. About there makes sense to me. Let's just make that a single family as well, but then... yeah, I think I'll do all high density at this point. This is a lot of people to move in at once. I might want to, like, end it here for now and then wait a month or so. I'm not sure. I'm so glad to hear that you're doing, at least, well is yet to be determined. I'm glad you're existing, though. And welcome, welcome. Let me catch another sip while these are building up. One moment. Oh, that's refreshing. I'll say, rather, our residential demand is highest now. This should satisfy that a bit. Let me go ahead and speed it up. I'm just going to see if I can wait until we get to, say, month 7 there, and then I'll fill out the rest of the apartments. Leave a little bit of buffer room between our death waves. All these employment opportunities I'm hoping will fill themselves out as well. We may be able to make a straightaway road right up here like we were talking about. In fact, I could even get rid of this before they go crazy with it and use that as an access road. That's not at a great angle. That's the road I should have fixed before we started building, but oh well. I'm going to try to just steal that little back. Sorry, apartments. I'll give you lots more opportunities. Alright, there we are. So just to plan ahead for that, let's go ahead and place the exit road. Might want it to be curved, actually. We're gonna hit the border there right quick. I guess the curve does not like the steepness of that side of things. So we'll try it this way. Maybe it's this area, in fact, that's causing it. It could just be that it's not at a smooth enough grade. We could try to terraform it out a bit, or maybe I just didn't lower this road enough. Let's see if I can mess with it. We'll get there. might be a little better. Oh, I wish I could get it far enough away that we can make use of all of the grid. Right now the grid is peeking out into the border, and that will never be useful to us. I think I keep breaking this apartment building too, because I'm messing with the grid. Ah, you can kinda skirt it through with a bridge there. That's interesting. Not sure why it allows that. Even be able to do it manually with something like this, but that's all getting expensive. It may actually be my best option, though. I could, like, connect it up over here, maybe. Let me see what it lets me do with this. It is switching angles instead of placing the road. I'm not sure why. Looks like it should place the road. There we go. So that is just not going to work unless we bridge it somehow. I do kind of like the idea of it connecting here rather than here, where I was originally envisioning it, though. Let's see what else I can do from up here. Is there any option to keep it flat? So far, so good. That's at a wonky angle there, but oh well. Oh, that's steep. It's like the only angle it could actually work at, though, is these crazy loop backs. Okay, we're looping back again, I guess. Why not? This would be a real nightmare to drive on. But we're getting there. We're getting down. Wow. That's just awful. Just, the worst road I may have ever seen. Someone's actually going on it. I can't believe it. But they chickened out real quick. So yeah, that's not ideal. That won't be quick. That won't be, necessary. I should just delete the whole thing. If the PC version, there's a mod where you can just like grab individual nodes like this and raise and lower them and smooth it out just perfectly. No such. So it's like, that's what I want. I want them to be able to say, you know, someone who lives here can work there and then get up here to shop or something. I don't know. I just want as many connections through this weird spot as possible. But if that was just one straight road that connected here, it would be so much better. So, once again, we can try to terraform the smoothness of it. I don't believe we will want to keep that. We will want to keep that road. As much as it charms me in its unique caricature. Good morning there. I thought you'd pop in to say hello. Things are definitely coming along. The twist and shout curve, yeah. Good old Myrtle Street. Strap your necks down. It's gonna be a rough one. Another option we could have is to bring it, like, off here, maybe, so it wouldn't be working off that cliff, at the very least. We have other options. I won't worry about it too much for now. It's not like it's desperately necessary. It'll just give us a little more grid room to work with. Alright, sorry Myrtle Street. We'll meet again. Just giving a quick check for fires or something here, so sorry. While I'm at it, let me... Good. Not too much crime still. Now that we've separated the actual industry plots from the forest, we seem to be having way fewer fires. Which I am very, very grateful for. Alright, so we'll work on another road down here. Another thing we haven't put in yet are these fire watch towers and the helicopter depot. I'm still waiting to see if we have another big forest fire. By then it will be too late. You know, I should put it in now, and we do have $175,000, so it's like another thing that would be good back here. Say, see if I can extend this at all. But straight, if it's not too much trouble. I still don't think that'll do me any good, because I think the helicopter depot is quite a bit wider than I'm giving it credit for. Yep, it sure is. So that's that extended road does me absolutely no good. However, somewhere around here, say here, I could put the helicopter depot so that it has access to the forest. Hopefully it can get other places as well. I'm guessing the one thing I would need to keep in mind about the depot is that placing it here, if there's a fire right next door, a helicopter would have to probably fly to the river. That's my only real water source here at the moment. Which is insane. I know we were thinking about buying this plot of land. Maybe we should do that. Then they'll have at least the ocean, too, to pull from, because I'm guessing they do need to pick up water before they can drop it. So I may want to give some thought to putting that as close to a water source as possible. Here we go with the fires again. Good, good. Alright, quick response with those 2 stations. So, that being the case, let's jump back into areas. And what would it cost us to finally get ocean access? 6,600. Let's do it. I don't think bare land like this adds to your utility costs at all. I don't think it costs you anything above the 6,600, so should be safe to do. I say that, brimming with my usual amount of confidence, which is 0. But this should serve us well. We now have access to the railroad. If there's no edge of map railway access, there is no railway access. You're fresh out of luck. At least in terms of exporting. You can obviously have inter-zone passenger railways. But this will allow us to export our lumber by rail, if we want to. And we now have a little beach. Some actual beach instead of just riverside. Riverfront property. Access to unlimited ocean water, which is great in case we need to pump some more, though it may be a lake, and all of this extra building space, obviously. So this is fantastic. We may want to start, as I was saying in a previous session, the son of a... Yeah, we'll name it. I love it. As I was saying in a previous session, I kind of want, that we're getting further away from that town, build this as sort of its own distinct area. So its own power, its own water utilities, and then we'll have rail access connecting them in the middle, basically, but that'll be the only area where our 2 towns connect at the rail yard. So I want this to be its own distinct new town as much as possible. Because I've always done this thing where I just continue to sprawl and spread, and it's one giant town, and I want to kind of break that up and make sure that we have distinct areas that we can decorate differently and have different specializations in and all that good stuff. We're also getting closer. I believe that weird discolored patch there further into the border zone is oil, finally? Let me check. Yeah, so if we ever wanted to get some oil industry going, we could tap into that, but it's not a big... Oh, I can't wait, for me, personally. This fertile farmland here underneath the railway station is also rather interesting. I wonder if we could dot a few farms in, like almost have a farming corridor that separates our two residential towns, and then lumber access to the rail yard as part of that. These maps are designed with so many fascinating possibilities right off the bat. Okay, I know we were going to start working on this as well, our little lake area, as soon as possible. I want to make that a priority here. We still haven't ventured across. I think this is going to be our connection point for venturing across the river as well. We'll have to do that. And I really want to pick up that big farmland space. That looks awesome. Just dreaming, pardon me. Alright, so the question is, should we immediately start to work on a new town here? Or should we first connect our lumber zone to the railway? I have never really ventured into mass transit or transit exports myself. This is usually where I live, about here, with a bit of everything in the bar, but no real out-of-the-way thinking. So this is the first time I'll be venturing into trying to get my lumber onto the railway. I'm assuming I need road access and rail access now, like it'll be on either side sort of thing. Underground metro. How do I still not have trains? That's interesting. Let me check. I know I have, like, subway trains, but I might not have industrial trains, at which point this is not the place to start. Milestones, that's the one. Okay, next milestone, so I'm 1,900, say, population away. Not too far off at all. That will also come with high-tech housing. I'm not sure what that means. It'll be interesting to see. Monorail tracks. Shouldn't spoil it for us. It'll pop soon. But yes, we don't need to worry about a train just yet. We really can't. I think it's been enough time now that I can finally fill out the rest of these apartment buildings. Pardon me for getting distracted. There. That should give them plenty of new options. This is coming along nicely. This road has a much smoother end to it than our other Myrtle Street there. So I like it. It seems a little bare with only that one spot. But oh well, we could fill in some trees or something if we need to. Just so I'll stop looking at it. Let's do that. Alright, so we still might want a street coming out there. I'm going to leave that. Just fill in some of these other gaps there. Really no big deal. Curious if I can slip a path right out there. Yeah, that'll help us out for something later. Anytime I discover one of those that's wide enough, like so many of these taper to where it's just not quite wide enough to get a path through. Though maybe that's not one of them. The possibility there. But anytime there's a nice obvious corridor, let's take advantage. Alright, so they're still needing residential, they're still needing a bit of commercial. How is luxury happiness doing? It's one of those luxury items, happiness. They do need a little something down here. Okay. How about a bouncy castle? So that would be a very loud area for a bouncy castle, but we could put it here. Yeah. The industrial bouncy castle will serve us well. Takes the raw edge off of everyone's boredom. At least now it's only a dull ache. Good. We'll try to have some more opportunities for them soon once we figure this out. I'm trying to think if I can get away with any of this, or if I can have to remove most of these buildings, because this is weird. Let me explain. Remove this road. What I think we need here, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to pull it off, is like a curved road. I don't want it connected there. Let's say here. And it needs to be curved, as I said to myself. So let's go like one out, one over. One out, one over. And then I always forget. I think it goes this way. At that point. So it's like we're gonna need much more room than I think we are in order to pull this off. However, I kind of like how that stacks up right in there. I am just not sure. The dimensions are the problem. I think I'm overextending this a little bit. I need like a little bit of flat land where I can work with. Let's just go over here. I don't think we'll mess up any trees. I'm gonna pause it for a second. Let me try to remember this. 'Cause I know you can start and go two whole spaces. And two whole spaces over. Same story here, I thought. So that you have a big shape, but then it goes into ones. I think that might be the shape in question. Because, once again, on the PC version there is a lake tool, or a terraforming tool. I don't know if it's a mod or if it's actually a native part of it. But it allows you to fill a lake to a certain level that you can choose, and you're done. On Xbox, you have to actually, like, terraform a basin yourself, and then raise and lower it for the rest of the game using your own water resources. So it will constantly be evaporating a little bit. You have to refill it, but you overflow it because it'll start flooding. And so the idea is that this shape is exactly enough for 2 water outputs and 1 water pipe. So you'll always be sucking in 1 water pipe's worth and outputting 2 water outlets worth, and it will keep itself at the same level if it is this shape. So this would work. However, I'm not sure if we can get that size shape into our little basin there. So the other option to do it, that's the way to make it like a renewable lake that is not connected to any other water source. The other way to do it would be to have an outflow, like a... really hard, since this is so deep in town and not downhill. Because it's like we'd need to have a channel, basically. It comes out along here and then maybe down along the main collector into the river. That's not impossible. We could figure it out, and then it wouldn't matter if the lake overflows. We could make it smaller and have it constantly overflowing into that channel that runs to the sea. I actually love that idea, but where it would need to go, technically, is like right through the university. So that's a bit of a shame. We can obviously relocate the university. It won't even be that expensive. So that may be our best bet, rather than trying to make a renewable lake, which would have to be this size. We could instead do a bit of a water feature. It is going to be expensive, but we have $309,000, so I don't know what I'm complaining about. Because I just don't think we're ever really going to get that to work. Even though I'm trying to consider it like, what if we had the bump of it here, and then the little side shape there, you know, twisted one to the right. It's still gonna be tricky. Okay, it's worth a shot. Let's try twisting it, because it's less destruction than we're gonna face otherwise. So first thing to grab is this fire station, which is important to keep around. Let's move it down here for now. Any other amenities here? No clinics, no schools. Alright. I think this is all just commercial zoning. Ah, there's that park, obviously. Carousel Park. May have to get rid of that. But it may be fine. Not sure. Let's go ahead and D-zone these. Sorry about your restaurants. D-zone that. Oh, it doesn't need to be. Nope, that doesn't need to be. The whole thing. I hope this doesn't mess them up. I caught it in time. There you go. Alright, we'll get rid of those, and then we'll move this. There, just across the street here is fine. Alright. We'll keep our path up there. We'll try to reconnect it ASAP. So my only thought is if there's any way to make the two-spot long extension here, we may be able to have the little lip of it coming out into the cemetery park, and this could work. It's just going to be very strange with all the differing elevations. We'll try to fix it up. I would love to be able to get rid of a little bit of this street. However, I don't want to get rid of that entire street, so I'm wondering if I can trick it into thinking that its street is shorter. Why don't you go this way? There. Sometimes you have to fool the game. Alright, I think I'm going to need this space too. It's real tight even with that one. So let's go ahead and remove this. D-zone it as well. While we're at it. Goodbye, Thomas. Alright. So, this is going to be weird. But fun. I'm very bad at gauging when the curve is going to be here. I think I can take it a little bit further back. Let's just about perfect, strangely enough. In terms of fitting in among the cliff, at least. Here's where it's gonna get tricky. This is just such a weird incline there. Like, I don't know how that's gonna behave. However, I think that will work. Actually. So we do have, like, just enough room there. That's the perfect shape. That's exactly what I wanted. I mean, the paths line up perfectly. So I'm a little concerned by the terraforming, is the only thing. I think we can keep this level here. Let's do a little change down here. That won't mess us up. But it might. It actually is. Yeah, I think I've missed an important step here. We now know in theory this works. Let me now fix it. A very important part that I'm forgetting is that it really needs to be as flat a terraformed area as possible. And now that we're all empty out here, we can make that happen, no problem. So let's say... What I don't want to do is make the steepness any worse in terms of connecting these paths up. So I want to pick an area that's like halfway between this hilltop and the very bottom of this. I don't want it to be so high that it's a huge flood risk for the town, like constantly looming over them. But I don't want it to be so low that it makes this cliff mess up either. So there has to be a happy middle ground. Let's jump to terraforming. We want this level terrain tool. And like I said, I don't want it too far above them. So let's pick maybe this line. And that size is probably fine. We're going to take the strength up just a bit. And we'll just try to do this as... Yikes. Carefully as possible. Really don't want to mess any of that up. Alright, houses should automatically keep their same height, so you won't mess them up. But I don't want to add too much of a cliff either. Alright, somewhere in there. Probably increase the size for this middle section, but we're almost there. So that'll be flatter, but this whole area is going to be a concern. I don't really know how to fix that without making it all this height. And I don't really want to do that. Let me just carve a little chunk into it at least, though. Try to leave the cemetery as undisturbed as possible. We may have to just cut in and connect this all as one big cliff over there. That's exactly where I didn't want to leave our path. Remember, minutes ago when I was saying, it's going to be too steep for that path if I go crazy here, and, well, here we are. It's also getting quite expensive in terms of landscaping. Thousands and thousands of dollars worth of dirt removal. Ahem. However, that's about the shape we're looking for. Let's see if we can put the road in, and then if we can fix any of that, if we can smooth any of that terraforming out, all the better. Jumping back to here, jumping back to curved. Starting from about here, was it? I'll check. Alright, so that's a little close. Huh. It's not even allowing it. I may need to carve out just a bit more of that, sadly. I'll get rid of those two buildings, but that's okay. Really hoping I can fill some of this back in once the shape is in place. Okay. So I don't need to be working off of that grid. I was just using that as a marker to remind me, but it is also kind of locking my position. Let me just go a bit above it to correct that issue. However, I don't want to be pushing up into that cliff. That should be fine since it's all like inside. It is raising it a little bit though. I want that to be fine. I think we're close. Let me just make sure we're doing it right. A little bit more. Okay. Just gonna need to start back from here, sadly. But that's fine. That should be nice and clean. Alright. This one's gonna not be nice and clean. It's not too bad. It doesn't really raise it. That's all I'm mostly worried about. Alright there, and alright here. I think that might work. Shockingly enough, I think we fit it in. Now we can fix this out. Or fix it up. We can probably just use softened terrain, though. Let me give it a little help first. Let's say around here. So I shouldn't have spent so much money removing all this dirt. That was where the bulk of my cost came in, and that's where I, as it turns out, didn't need it. Oh well. So hopefully we can still run the path like down this way and it'll connect. That's what I was worried about, is it not having any options, but we have plenty of room to work with out here, so I'm not worried. So that'll be fine. We'll smooth that out in a minute. Let's say up here. Just give it a little suggestion before we start our smoothing. Because once the road is in, the level of that land cannot raise or lower, so you're only left able to edit the inside of it for the lake part and then the surrounding area, which I really like how that works out. Once your roads are placed, you know you have a set benchmarker, say. Alright, so that was the level tool. Let's go big size on the smoother. Sort of try to make this all melt into itself. Alright, so let's, before anything else, that we've been running with the incorrect label here, let's go ahead and paint this district out to its edges, now that we have them defined. Something like that. And it is not the Ore Palace. What should our lake be called? I will give it some thought here and see if there are any suggestions in the chat. Definitely open for it. I love how this road looks. I don't know why. Little stuff like that makes me happy. This is one way, right? Yeah. Just making sure. So, I think what I need to do now, with our 229, is terraform down a bit. I forget exactly how far we'll need to go. Let's check here. I might need a little more flat land, though. Should be fine. So the idea is that you put one of these pumping stations in. That not only acts as a way to get the water out, it also acts as sort of a guide to the height of this. Because the water's surface will need to be above the pumping station. And so the road right now is acting as, let's call it sea level. And we need the roof of this pumping station to be beneath the road. So we can put lower. And then there's also, like, the idea that the lower you have it in the water beneath how far you need to have it, it will hide itself better. If you leave it just underneath the water's surface, it'll work fine, but you'll be able to see it there the entire time. And it's not the prettiest of buildings, though it does have a certain rustic charm. So let me, I guess now moving it is probably cheaper. It's cheaper not to mess up in the first place, but now let's try moving it. So we're just going to need to take it down a little bit because it wasn't quite under the road. Let's try there so it has a little hiding space. And we'll grab it again. Lake Leprosy. I like that. Certain visions of Lake Laogai to it. So that should be well and truly beneath. I've gone overboard, but we can try that. That's fine. Maybe a little bit too much. Obviously, the deepness affects the quantity of water needed as well, so you want to leave it as close to just under as possible. Regrettably, that means another relocate. It's only $500, though. I'm not sure why I'm complaining. We're almost there. Alright, I got too excited. Sorry. Sorry, everybody. That was my fault. Try this. Hello, hello, welcome. Alright, that should be perfect. You can definitely see that it's visually below the surface. It's not so much below that it will make a big water quantity issue. So now that will lock the land there. Let us go ahead and shift the rest of the terrain. We'll go a size down because I don't want it shifting terrain outside the road, if at all possible. Alright, this is expensive. But that's okay. It's definitely expensive to make a man-made lake. Or whatever you are in this game. Are you a man, or are you just a bunch of faceless policies? Who's to say? Okay, that should be fine. Don't really want to push it any further. And then we can just run a quick soften on it to make it a little less funky. I guess we want to wait until after the road is gone for that. There's two schools of thought, though. You can keep the road in, and you have a lake surrounded by a road, and then you can add different paths and things to it. Or what most people do is once this shape is in place, they remove the road and then soften the terrain around it. And that does make it look more natural. I kind of like that, but I also like just how clean this looks right now. The fact that it's very obviously a man-made lake is kind of nice too sometimes. So, I'm not going to soften it yet. I think I'm going to remove the road for this one. However, I need to go ahead and get it to start filling up. I really don't want to flood anything, so I'm trying to be really careful and remember the steps here. I'm trying to make sure I'm not forgetting a step. Like, do you need to fill it up when the road is still in place, or can I remove the road now and then fill it up? These are my questions. Let's try removing the road now. I'm going to save it, actually. And then if it messes something up, we'll jump back and save it. No problem. I think this should be fine now. There. That does have a very nice, natural look to it. So now we can start filling it up. It shouldn't ever go above that line if the water pumping station is working correctly. So it needs power. And then I could do a little smoothness. I probably should. Just in case. I don't think that's gonna help much. Let me see if I can put one close enough. There's no wind because of the mountain there. Obviously, sure. 4 megawatts. That's really not necessary. Let's just try to get the pipes fixed first. We'll come back to that. So, quick landscaping, a little bit less strength. Just gonna smooth this out a touch. That's nice. A little bit smaller with a little more strength down here. Let's make this a little more basin-y. That should help us fill it up just a little bit faster when it's not trying to like get into all those little corners there. More rounded. Okay. So, in here we now need, there should be a freshwater outlet for 2,500. You need 2 of them at the very least. 2 of them will eventually keep it filled. You probably want around 5 or 6. Seems to be the idea to start it with. I'm just going to do 4 for right now. And we'll let it go slowly. I want this to be filling up for a while. If you have 6 freshwater outlets, it takes about 13, 15 minutes to fill up a basin this size, I guess. Oh, those pipes are much higher now. That's hilarious. We terraformed underneath existing pipes, and now they're just floating invisibly in midair. That's not ideal. We'll try to fix that. I'm gonna take a quick pipe right through here. Nope. Ah, that's such a shame. Glitched at the last second. Alright. Those are really hard to target when they're floating invisibly. There we are. Okay. This. We can add plenty more as needed, but now we've gotten rid of all the weird floaties. And this needs direct access. There. Alright, so this should start filling in. I'll just let it run here. Actually, it needs power, obviously. With power lines, because it's like when there is water, they'll build themselves up above the water on a little concrete pylon like that. But I don't know about when the water hasn't filled in yet. It's a little strange. I don't want to, like, cause a electrical surge here, but we'll see what happens. So that'll start filling up our little man-made lake. Eventually it should get high enough to cover the pipes, and at that point it'll look pretty natural, especially from a distance. Though there will be like a little industrial island in it. If need be, we can move that at some point over into this little corner here or something too. Ah, okay. We've just lost some power, sure. I should have known. There we go. So they stopped pumping there. Alright. So, there is our lake. It will be filling up over the next, let's say, 20 minutes or so. And quite a lot of sewage output there now. We're a big city these days, 10,000 plus. Couple of deaths out here. I'm hoping that's being managed. We should still have room in our cemetery for sure. Eventually we're going to get that crematorium, which will help with our storage issues. A little bit rude to call them storage issues, but yeah. So, now we can think about, do we want, this road reconnected? Do we want to have a bridge going around it? Do we want to have a channel through the university or something that accentuates this, etc., etc.? Now we have a nice blank canvas of a lake to work off of. And thank you for bearing with me there. I could not remember how most of that worked. So it was a good lesson for me. Obviously these trees will die on their own in the water. But I think at that point they may just sit there on the bottom, so we want to probably delete any trees that are actively in the lake. It will also eventually change the land color around it into a beach. It'll stay as kind of a dirty, rocky cliff face like this for a while, but once the water eventually settles into it, it'll turn into sand, just like this has over here. So that'll be a really nice time, too, because it'll finally look more natural. Should mix the cremated remains with the lake, so that we can let the dead folks lie. Lie. I see. I see what you've done. So occasionally this does need a little extra help at the start with like another, 2 freshwater outlets, but I think it will still fill up just fine if we let it run for a while and it doesn't look like it's covering much more of this. I'll add 2 more. No big deal. So you can see the difference between our low-density residential housing here and the high-density apartments very clearly in the Bryn. Many, many more people can fit themselves in here. I do want to see if this is possible. Let's try connecting these 2. If it's gonna allow it, hooray. Absolutely. Little pedestrian back alleyway there. So we still have this connection up here. We're gonna need to bring that down and into the lake. All this new space out here. I've taken up all of our time, but next session here, I promised we were going to do that lake last session, so I'm glad we got to it. But next session, my promise, my vow, my pinky swear to you is we'll try to build a small town here on the beach, like a brand new, completely separated, has its own exclusive water and power kind of thing. And I'm really excited about that. That should be fun. Till then, we have our 10,000 strong city, making us some significant money. I don't think I ever checked in after we added that climbing frame. I didn't check in to see what our next entertainment need is here. 10,000 entertainment. Okay. And... oh no, that's visitors. Sorry, 1,120 is entertainment. Great, that's not too much at all. We can probably throw in some more amenities there. Let's see, City Park. What I'm not sure of is, like, is there anything else that counts as entertainment that I can put in here? Like, can I put a bouncy house in here and it counts as entertainment? Is my question. I guess it's like, those can only be built off of normal roads, and these are park roads. Park buildings can be built off of park roads, but those cannot. So that's the difference, and it seems like I just need to keep adding more of these. I guess we could add another pier in here. There are too many piers. And that's 50 entertainment, so not a bad way to go. Let's add one more set of those, in fact. Give it a little offset there. And right here. That's not bad. Make more sense if I put picnic tables on either side of it so that two weren't one way and one is... yeah, we'll come back to it. It's fine. Jump back to this tool. Let me see what that got us. So we still need about 100. What else don't we have on this side? We've got the cafe, we've got... is that an info booth or restrooms? It must be restrooms. How about an info booth over here? And maybe another frame? Why not? I like how many trees are involved in that. That's a good piece. Same with this info booth, for that matter. Alright, that looks lovely. That enhances our riverfront. And we just have to wait until we get visitors. Fantastic. We'll have a 5-star park, I guess, waiting for us at that point. A little bit longer and a 5-star park. If it's 5 stars, $10 ticket prices. Why not? Ooh. Alright. So, final choice. You can see the outlets are now covered. That's great. That's what it should start to look like. I'm getting very worried from a realism sense about these power lines, but it doesn't seem to be bothering anyone else. I'll just keep letting it go. Alright, so I'm just about out of time. I wish I could continue to watch it fill up, but we'll have the excitement next time of watching the last little bit of the lake fill up. And I guess we can name it then as well. We have one good candidate in Lake Leprosy. If there are any other candidates, come find me on Discord, or keep it in mind for next time. I will pull the trigger on it then. We've expanded our residential Bryn section, we've reworked our power, we've access to the ocean proper now, and some railway to come. Thank you very much. I guess I can remove that at some point. We'll leave it for now, as a guide. Thank you for your time. I have had an absolute blast here, and really wanted to get this lake in. I can't wait to start beautifying it. Next time, ideally we'll turn this into another one of those level up parks and get it up to 5 stars, so I'm excited. Thank you for your time. I will see you back here in Menzoberranzan as soon as possible. Until then, take care of yourself, and bye for now.